President Obama is now at the head of the table in the troubled negotiations to raise the federal debt ceiling. The president first met with Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid this morning and then with Republican Senate Leader Mitch McConnell in the evening. McConnell tried to set the tone earlier in the day when he said tax increases on the rich and corporations are off the table. But another senator offered a lengthy rebuke to McConnell's way of thinking. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders took to the floor for nearly 90 minutes, urging the president to strike a deal protecting the middle class and the poor.
Mr. President, this is a pivotal moment in the history of our country. You're looking at a real unemployment rate in this country of about 16%. 16%. Are those really the people that we should go to for deficit reduction? Are they not suffering enough right now? Rich get richer, they get tax breaks. Poor get poorer, they lose the ability to send their kids to college or nutrition programs or health care. You got large, extremely profitable corporations who either pay nothing in taxes or get a rebate from the IRS. Maybe, just maybe, when we talk about deficit reduction, we might want to ask those people to help us out rather than go after the elderly, the sick, the children, and the poor. But the president has got to hear from the American people. He has got to hear that they will not accept decimating Medicare, Medicaid, Pell Grants, education, and the environment in order to give more tax breaks to the wealthy. Mr. President, stand tall. Do not yield to Republican blackmail. Stand with the vast majority of the American people who believe that deficit reduction requires shared sacrifice.
And joining me now is Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Sir, it's good to have you on with us.
Good to be with you.
So explain to all of us, what did you hope to accomplish with this near 90-minute statement that you took to the Senate floor today to have? Do you think that the president heard you? I mean, we know that Senator Sanders is a talker, but do you think that the president heard you?
Well, it's not hearing me. It's hearing the American people. Look, poll after poll says that the American people think that it is insane and wrong that at a time when the wealthiest people are becoming wealthier, corporations are making huge profits and in some cases paying nothing in taxes, that you exclude those people from deficit reduction and that the only thing you do is make massive cuts in Medicare, Medicaid, education, environmental protection, nutrition, etc. Poll after poll shows that is not what the American people want. Second of all, it is simply immoral to move in that direction. And thirdly, the point that I made is that it is not complicated or hard to come up with a deficit reduction program which is fair and which does not devastate the needs of low and moderate income Americans. It's all sitting there. You do away with extending Bush's tax breaks for the wealthy, $700 billion. Take a hard look at military spending. Accelerate the departure of our troops from Iraq and Afghanistan, hundreds of billions of dollars. Do away with the absurdity of corporations and wealthy people able to park their money in tax havens in the Cayman Islands and in Bermuda, $100 billion a year. End programs, tax policies which encourage and give tax breaks to corporations who shut down in this country and move abroad. Do away with the differential in tax rates between low rates on dividends and capital gains, which are lower than what working people have to pay. It is not hard to come up with a deficit reduction program which is fair. The American people want that, and they have got to tell the President of the United States to stand up to Republican blackmail and do something which is right and fair for ordinary people.
Sir, here's what White House spokesman Jay Carney said today about the negotiations and the choice that needs to be made.
Do we perpetuate a system that allows for subsidies and revenues for oil and gas, for example, or owners of corporate private jets, and then call for cuts in things like food safety or weather services, things that the federal government really does need to do on behalf of American citizens?
Sir, you said before that you feel like what's going on right now with these talks and what's being set aside is immoral. Vice President Biden used that same word this weekend after the Biden talks fell down after Eric Cantor walked out. Hearing that statement, does that indicate to you that the president will protect social services for the middle class and the poor?
Well, the track record is not great. The two other negotiating sessions, two other negotiating processes that took place in December regarding tax reform and the question of whether or not the government would be shut down by the Republicans, in both of those instances, the president made major concessions. So the track record is not great. But I hope that the president, and the reason for my speech today is to say, Mr. President, this is not an act of political courage. The vast majority of the people believe in shared sacrifice. If you stand up to the Republicans and say, excuse me, your rich friends and your large corporations that pay nothing in taxes, in fact, get rebates from the IRS, guess what? They are going to have to pay their fair share. So we move toward deficit reduction in a way that is responsible and not simply on the backs of the most vulnerable. That is a popular position. That is a right position. The president has got to be a leader in bringing the American people together behind that position. They're already there. We need his leadership. If we do that, we could end up with a package of deficit reduction that I think we'll feel good about.
And, Senator, real quickly before we go, have you heard anything out of the president's meeting with Senator McConnell tonight?
No, I have not.
All right, Senator Bernie Sanders, great to have you on. As always, we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.